What is good, everyone? OG over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to the PE Nintendo Switch and discussion video. Today, we're going to have a couple different discussions going over some of the things that you guys have been saying based on Capcom and stuff that I've been hearing anytime that I mentioned Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that. So I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion on that. In addition to that, we're also going to be talking about The Legend of Heroes, Trials of the Cold Steel, as far as that game, and kind of how the Falcom president might want to look more or accelerate their plans for the Nintendo Switch based off of the recent Media Create sales charts, because that created quite the discussion on Gematsu.com, where a lot of the Japanese gaming fans like to hang out and get their news. So we'll talk about that at the end. But first, let's get into a brand new game announcement for the Nintendo Switch, and this game is called Dead Synchronicity. Tomorrow Comes Today, and it is officially announced for the Nintendo Switch, and the name always trips me up. It's like, Tomorrow Comes Today. Is it launching tomorrow or is it launching today? That's what some people have been saying, and it's confused me at first, but I do understand. So let's get into this PR release here. Published by Badland Games, this title tells the story of Michael, a man with no past who must recover his identity and decode the two events that brought the world to the edge of collapse. The first is the so-called Great Wave, an inexplicable chain of natural disasters. The second is a pandemic that has turned humans into dissolved, infected beings with special cognitive powers whose sick bodies will eventually dissolve into blood. If Michael doesn't hurry, he won't be able to avoid the impending moment of Dead Synchronicity. Plays homage to the classic adventure games and shows an adult storyline and modern mechanics, appealing to both new gamers and old school lovers. Solve each puzzle to get closer to the truth, guiding Michael to a future he may or may not be ready to face in this disturbing addition to the adventure genre. The game's original soundtrack was composed and performed by indie rock band, I cannot say their name, while it consists of a bunch of different people there, formed in 2007, and more information as far as that goes, link in description below. Now here are the main features of the game. Revel in stunning 2D graphics that pay homage to German expressionism, solve puzzles to move the story forward, and unravel a horrific sci-fi plot. Immerse yourself in a blood-stained world filled with dread, pays homage to the 90s classic adventure games with a controlled twist and modern mechanics, making the game appealing to both young and old school gamers. Explore the world with old school free roaming gameplay, play with English or German voiceovers accompanied by atmospheric score by indie rock band, the band that I can't say. So this game is definitely not my style. I'm probably not going to be checking this one out just for me personally, but for those who do like the old school adventure games and stuff like that, then this just might be your cup of tea. You might want to check out more information on it. Just the key features didn't really speak to me too much. It does have that open free roam mode, which is kind of cool, but just the solving puzzles part, I am not a big puzzle solver type of person. Just to let you guys know, probably my two most disliked genres of gaming are mini game collections, if that's even a genre, puzzle games. Like those two, I just don't like puzzle games, don't like mini game collections. So the fact that this is really going to be a puzzle game is kind of like, okay, I'm good. But it does look like a pretty cool game for those who are into it, and it does seem like it could be a good fit on the Nintendo Switch considering the portable aspect of the system. So what do you guys think about this title? Let me know in the comment section below. Alright, now moving into the next article here, we're going to briefly discuss Capcom, because every single time that I talk about Capcom, or when I talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite sales, which hasn't been much, I think I've only made 2 videos discussing this, when they were in the Media Create last week, and then this week how they completely dropped out of the top 20. And every single time someone in the comment section or multiple people say, oh, well, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite wouldn't have done much better on the Nintendo Switch. I don't know why you're saying this and that. And I've never said that. I never once said that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite would be a blockbuster hit, or it'd sell millions of copies, or would have just done so much better on the Switch. All I'm saying is that Capcom needs to look at their audience when it comes to their titles. Look at their audience and look at who actually wants to buy the games, because they've been releasing game after game after game on the PS4 and Xbox One, and there has been flop after flop after flop, or underperforming after underperforming after underperforming. And that's all I'm saying here. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite probably would have sold equally or almost as good on the Switch as it did on the PS4 and Xbox One. Let's just be real here. If you're looking at other games that have came out on the Switch from Capcom, for example, like Street Fighter, that game was just as marred, if not more, than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite for its high price tag when people said it was a ripoff, for not adding a ton of different things, for the motion controls in the way of the Hado mode or whatever it is, that being very crappy, has a lower review score than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, yet that still shifted way more units when it comes to Japan and when it comes to the UK, and probably is going to do better worldwide than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, at least in the short term. So if you're looking at that, you're trying to sit here and tell me, oh, well, Nintendo Switch fans wouldn't buy this game if they bought Street Fighter? I mean, come on, let's just be real here. Yes, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite isn't the greatest game out there, and that's the main argument that I'm seeing from people. Oh, well, it sucks. Oh, well, it doesn't have X-Men. This is the reason why it completely flopped. But you've got to be kidding me. There are more things that were going wrong with Street Fighter on the Nintendo Switch than Marvel vs. Capcom for a lot of people. And considering that was a port compared to a brand new game that still had amazing fighting game mechanics and everything, so in my opinion, they would have at least sold what Street Fighter sold on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, minimum, it would be that. It might have outsold it, who knows. In Japan, obviously people are gravitating more towards the Switch, and I think that type of game, being able to take it anywhere you want, even without the X-Men, is more appealing to people than just sitting in front of their TV and playing without some of their favorite characters. At least you get the added benefit of taking it somewhere else. So I'm not saying that it was going to be a huge seller or massive sales or anything like that, but if you look at Street Fighter, then you look at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and then you look at the install base gap between them, even in Japan and in the UK in various different places, how are you going to sit here and tell me that it was okay for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite to sell less than Ultra Street Fighter 2 on the Nintendo Switch with an install base nowhere near it? Come on now. Like, come on. To the point to where you're selling barely 9,000 copies in Japan in the first week, then completely dipping off the sales charts in the second week? No way that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, based on the games that have came out so far on the Switch, no way that it would have sold that low, in my opinion, on the Nintendo Switch, at least in Japan. At least in Japan. So those are my thoughts on that. And then kind of moving on to what Capcom is doing next, it's like, look, I understand. Like, I still feel Capcom is going to bring more games to the Nintendo Switch. All I'm saying is that they need to look at the games that they've been releasing. The Disney Afternoon Collection, the Mega Man, all that stuff has just been flopping. Those games aren't really selling on PS4 and Xbox One. Nobody is buying those games because they probably already pirated them on PC or whatever the case is, or don't care. There's no added benefit because you can't take it anywhere else. It's just right there on your TV. Whereas on the Nintendo Switch, for those who want it, those aren't necessarily my cup of tea, but for those who want it, can take that anywhere you want to get that classic action. To me, it's more of a value proposition than anything else. Heck, I think there's probably PS4 and Xbox One dudes who have a Switch that were probably waiting for a Switch announcement when it comes to those games, because they're old school games and you get the added benefit of taking them anywhere you want with the Switch. So once again, not trying to say that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was going to be this massive seller or anything like that. All I'm trying to say is that it probably would have done just as good in Japan, if not better, so they would have sold more. And then on top of that, they have to look at what games that they're bringing out and who actually wants those games. They have Okami coming to the PS4 and Xbox One, and I guarantee you that game is going to flop on there too. So all I'm saying is that in 2018, they need to have a renewed look at what they're doing, and hopefully they do so, because I think that they will. Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 is going to do well on the Nintendo Switch this fall, so we'll see what happens. Alright, and briefly getting into this last topic here, I wanted to discuss a little bit about the Falcom president and what he said a while ago, back I think in July, about the Nintendo Switch as far as what he would like to do. Now, this is the same developer behind the series of The Legend of Heroes Trials of Cold Steel 3. So that game sold 87,261 copies during its first week of sales on the PlayStation 4, and that is significantly lower than the other systems. Now, there is an asterisk by that, because the other games that came out in the franchise, so The Legend of Heroes Trials of the Cold Steel 2, that launched in September 2014, sold 86,283 units on the PS Vita and another 65,498 units on the PlayStation 3, so for a combined total of 151,781 units. So for them to cut out one of the platforms really costed them sales when it comes to this game. And similarly, the one before that actually sold quite a bit, nearly 150,000 copies between the PS Vita and the PlayStation 3. So I really think they should have had a backup plan for this type type of game and tried to get it out on the Switch at the same time. We've seen Koei Tecmo and other people get those games out, so the fact that they didn't plan a Nintendo Switch version, or one isn't planned at this point, they didn't have it out at the same time, I think really hurt this game, because it's literally half the sales that they've got before. Now, it's still pretty good Now that's still pretty good, 87,000 units for one system on the PlayStation 4. That's great sales when it comes to things, but at the same time, you're not doing anywhere near as the games that you did before. Plus you're spending more money probably, or right around that, on the PlayStation 4 release compared to a PS3 and a PS Vita release. So I do feel that I think it's time for them to just stop going strictly Sony when it comes to things, especially if they want to regain that portable fan base that they had on the PS Vita, because that's pretty much been the biggest selling one each time, is the PS Vita version of this game. So HD graphics have never been a big thing when it comes to it with this series. People want to play it portably, and them not providing a portable version of the game, whether it's PS Vita or probably would have been better off, obviously, the Nintendo Switch, I think really hurt things. Now, I've seen the game myself. It looks like a fantastic title, and back in, I think it was back in, July 2017, the Falcom president did talk about wanting to bring the games to Nintendo Switch. This is what he had to say: the Nintendo Switch is a completely Nintendo machine, and that's a really cool thing. Then he also said, yeah, if the opportunity presents itself, I would definitely like to get Falcom games on the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully that opportunity has presented itself after seeing these sales, because they obviously need a portable version of this franchise if they want to continue those big 150,000 unit plus sales in the first week. So we'll see what happens going forward in the future. What do you guys think about this franchise? Are you interested in playing it? Are you going to pick it up when it comes out on the PlayStation 4 here in the US or Europe or wherever you're at? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. It really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon page, pledge any tier, be entered in to win some awesome prizes. In addition to that, we have Discord voice chat and prized eShop tournaments. Plus, we have a brand new sponsorship program with YouTube Gaming as well. It's very similar to Twitch, to where you can earn emotes. We've got Toby, headbands, and also the Mankakyu Sharingan as well for all sponsors. So make sure you check out our YouTube Gaming live streams, usually in the evenings. I'll be having a pretty cool game tonight. I've been teasing it all day, so make sure you tune in. Hit that notification button so you see when PlayerEssence goes live. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.